Hi, I'm Alex. I really should have peed before we started.
Yikes. Yeah, you should have, honestly. And hi, once again, I am Carly, and I don't know shit about fuck, but you are going to hear me talk today.
I wanted to redo mine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So sorry.
Mm-hmm. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Alex. I love to guess who's murdered who.
I didn't even give the intro for the book yet.
Okay, fine. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm gonna murder Carly.
Oh my god. Okay, well, hi, I've already introduced myself, so I'm not doing it again. If you couldn't tell, we are doing a murder mystery today. Dun, dun, dun. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Satanto. Don't know if I'm saying that right. And if you didn't know, which like you should because you have eyes and you press play, but this is books we can't shut the fuck up about. So yeah, are you ready to guess who done it?
Oh yes. No, I'm like really obnoxious about this stuff.
Okay, well you better, I like see you peeping the notes.
Okay, sorry.
No,
I can't read. I couldn't even see those cookies on that poster we saw earlier. You expect me to be able to read that?
You need to get your eyes checked,
They
bro.
look like tomatoes.
Oh my god. So this book came to me by my own book club that I am in. It was labeled as a cozy mystery and not something I would have picked up on my own.
Ooh, okay.
The Goodreads review average is a 4-star on this book, which is interesting because that's also what I reviewed it, as a 4-star.
I love that.
Yeah, I started reading this at the beginning of the year, and it was just like one of those things where I was like, man, I don't know like what to read. It's the beginning of the year. I'm like kind of feeling like a little slowish getting out of the holidays and stuff. Like, what do I do?
You need a little palate cleanser sometimes.
I do need a palate cleanser.
And whatever
like
that
right
is.
now.
Yeah.
So, game time. Intro of characters. This is our first game, our first whoddunit.
This is exciting. Okay, so question before you dive in. Is there multiple murders?
No.
Just one?
Just one murder.
Okay, all right.
So, intro of characters. I'm going to introduce them to you, and I want you to guess who the victim is and who the killer is.
Okay, cool.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Vera Wong. She is, obviously her name is in the title of the book. She is the main character / old lady who owns a tea shop. And
That's a good place to get murdered in.
Good place to get murdered in. And she's I guess I don't want to like give this away, but like she's kind of like the detective in this.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you can tell that by the title.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I don't feel bad about saying that.
Okay.
Julie Chen, Emma Chen, Oliver Chen, Tilbert Wong.
Oh, wait. So we're not getting a descriptor of any of these people.
Do you want me to? I can
maybe
give you
a quick little blurb. How am I supposed to guess who the victim is and the murderer if I don't have at least like a one-sentence blurb?
Okay, fine. Okay, Julie Chen, wife. Emma Chen, she's the daughter. Oliver Chen is a brother of Marshall. Tilbert Wong, that's Vera's son. Marshall Chen. Ricky Harawanto, which, like, I'm so sorry if I pronounce these names wrong. I do think this is more like
all right, Marshall's the one who got murdered.
Yeah.
Knew it. Oh my god, I'm 1 for 1.
Ricky Harwanto, he's a programmer. Sana Singh, artist. Alex, he's a regular customer at the tea shop. Winifred, French pastry shop owner, and Officer Gray, who's a police officer in this book.
It would be an incredible incredible twist if Officer Gray was the murderer.
If Officer Gray, is that your?
No, I stopped listening. So I need. Okay, so we have Marshall. We have a brother of Marshall. We have a daughter of Marshall and a wife of Marshall, and then Vera.
Tilbert, which is Vera's son. Ricky Herwanto, who's a programmer.
That's suspicious.
Santa Singh, she's an artist. Alex, he's a regular tea shop customer. Winifred, the French pastry shop owner. And then Officer Gray.
Okay, so Alex and the artist and then the pastry chef really stand out to me.
So you think it's one of those three?
I think it's one of those three.
We'll see.
Okay, this is fun. But Marshall is definitely dead.
Marshall's definitely dead. Rip Marshall.
Rest in peace, yeah.
So Vera Wong has her tea shop named Vera Wang, world famous tea shop, and she named it Vera Wang because Vera Wang is a famous person. So she decided.
Wait, the tea shop is really called Wang, not
Vera
Wong?
Wang, yeah. and she said that she was going to keep Vera Wang even if she got sued because people would come to it because of the name. Which I was like, when I read that in the book, I was like, oh.
She's got good advice in multiple avenues.
Yeah. Business ventures.
This is actually the Vera Wang podcast.
Yeah. We're
Check it
throwing
out.
the other one out the trash. Yeah. So Vera's husband died. She wakes up every day and she has her set schedule, which this is the part of the book that did irk me a little bit because they made her sound so old. like right off the bat, I was shocked when I got to her age and it was 60 because they made her seem 80. She's waking up at 4:45, got her full fit on and taking a 3-mile walk around the block, and then she
Good for Vera, honestly.
goes, gets the shop clean, sets up for the day for her one regular customer because the shop's not busy. Gets her one regular customer's tea ready to go.
The last name change didn't work.
Yeah. And cleans up the shop and goes up, is promptly in bed by 6-7 p.m. And they make her seem so old. Maybe 8. It's just
Wait, she's 60 even?
60, yeah. They say she's 60 years old. And so it's just I'm at a 60-year-old, I'd feel you'd have a little bit more of a life than that, you know?
I would hope so. Yeah.
And so I was just why are they making her seem and they also describe her kind of old and frail and at my age they use a lot of she describes herself as you wouldn't hurt a weak old lady, and I'm girl, you're 60, get up.
Yeah, I would.
You're literally can walk 3 miles around the block, you're literally fine, diva.
Yeah, that is weird because 60's not
60's not old. Yeah, I know. She hates Winifred, by the way. Hates Winifred.
Winifred is the one who owns the pastry shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna this. We're gonna read a lot out of this book because one of the reasons why I liked it is because it was so funny and witty, and I feel the only way for me to showcase it was funny and witty is to read stuff out of the book. So let's see. So this is other stuff that she'll text her son, and it'll be sent at 4:31 a.m. Tilly, are you awake? It's 4:31 a.m. very late. When I was your age, I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning to cook breakfast for Agan and Ama. Seize the day, carpe diem, kind regards, mama. Just how she has that written. And also I will say when I almost wanted to play you the audiobook because when I was reading in the audiobook it was heavy Asian Chinese accent, and the author is she is of
Asian
is
Chinese the
descent,
person who
but,
did the audiobook.
I don't know, but it was very obviously when people try to make when you go to the nail shop and they make funny videos out of like, you go to the nail shop and like, is that your boyfriend? Like, that's how the audiobook was. Like, it was like that. And I was like, oh, this is like so fake, it's bad. Like, I hate it. Like, it was very exaggerated. It was like not, I was like, girl, I'm not reading this. And then when they get to, so like Emma, the daughter, is like a toddler. And so when they get to her in the audiobook, she's like, Mommy, and I'm like, it's obviously like an adult doing a baby voice. And I'm like, oh, hate this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to
Hate
read that.
that.
No.
Anyway, and so she also just like sends her son like funny stuff. Like this one was her text message she sent to her son at 7:45 p.m. Tilly, I noticed that this girl has like 2 of your videos on TikTok. I think this means she likes you. No, like, period.
Honestly,
me too.
Thank you, Vera. I want her to be my friend.
No, literally. I look at her profile and she pout a lot, but I think she will make good wife. She went with her mother for manicure last week. This means she is a... Oh, God, I cannot pronounce that. Perhaps you should slip and slide into her DM. But like she says stuff like that.
I love that.
That's just like really kind of funny. And so he'll like respond to her and he'll be like, this is like another one, like he responded to her and he was like, Uncle Lynn died because he was hit by a bus and I told you to stop calling me Tilly, I go by Bert. And Vera responds to him and she said, don't talk back to your elders, I raised you better than that. And what is wrong with Tilly? It's a good name. Your Baba and I think long and hard about your name. You should treasure it. Like she's just very like witty, and like again they're talking about, so like she'll talk, this is her like talking about her walk and they're like, with her muscles sufficiently warmed up, Vera gets into her walking position, chin up, chest out, elbows perpendicular to her body, then begins to walk with her fists swinging in front of her chest with the enthusiasm of a North Korean soldier at a national parade. I'm like, all right, the walk can only be described as vigorous. And I'm like, you guys are making it seem like she's on this like parallel, like really intense journey and she's just walking at 60. Like we do not have to describe her as this like frail person who can't simply handle a 3,000 step walk. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, okay. So then she talks about this place called the Cafe. And she's like, just imagine the kind of confusion it's caused to customers. Where would you like to go? The Cafe. Right. Which one? The Cafe. Which one? You'd think with a name like that, the Cafe would have folded long ago. Like, she just has all of these ridiculous comments to herself. She talks about again how she doesn't like the Winifred, the lady next door to her tea shop who owns the French pastries. She's like, the pastries aren't even French. She's like so like, I don't know, like very just, she's got opinions. She's got opinions. She has a lot of, well, she's given advice to murderers. I would think she has a lot of opinions. So anyway, Vera's like really funny. You're kind of like getting all this like background information about her and like, you know, how witty she is and like just the whole like street. 'Cause she lives on a street with like businesses in the middle of like Chinatown. And so she wakes up one morning and someone is dead in her tea shop. And the window is busted. So we're going to get to that part in the book. Gasp. I know. Which I did like. The book is a very, like, quick, light read, which made it really easy. And so I feel like I liked the pace of the book.
Oh, that's good. That's important.
Ooh. Oh, Lord. So it says it's 8:55 p.m., almost a half hour past Vera's bedtime. She can't remember the last time she failed to fall asleep at 8:30 p.m., which I'm, again, like, you're only 60. Like, my father's almost 70, and he, like, stays up till midnight still. Yeah. Like, girl. Vera goes to sleep very promptly every night. She's never understood people who have difficulty sleeping. For Vera, sleep, like most other things in life, is a matter of discipline and willpower. Except
Oh
for
my God.
Except for tonight. Tonight, Vera finds herself lying in the dark, rolling the hem of her blanket between her thumb and index finger restlessly. For the 6th time, she takes a deep breath, forceful breath, and mentally demands her brain shut down for the night. When the red numbers on the clock turn to 9, Vera gives up trying to beat the consciousness into submission and rises. She's annoyed. She gives an annoyed huff and shuffles out the bedroom into the kitchen. She turns the kitchen light on and winces at the sudden brightness. When her eyes finally adjust to the light, Vera potters about, making herself a nice cup of caffeine-free tea. As she works, she chides herself for being silly. Why should the mere discovery of a dead body in her little shop make her lose sleep? She begins indulgent. That's what she's being. But then again, it's not the dead body, is it? It's the other thing.
Oh.
By the time the police arrive, Vera is calm. Well, her heartbeat is a little bit elevated. And it's just like, it's these small little things. And so she talks about how she's excited for the police to show up. They're going to do this whole like CSI thing in her house. Like, and so she's describing how she wants the crime scene to go in her head in the book. And so she like wakes up and she makes the officers tea, which they're like, ma'am, we don't need tea. Like, can you just like move aside? And she's like, the officer asked her to like go outside while they examine the crime scene. She says, oh no, thank you. I need to stay and make sure your friends don't miss anything. And then he looks at it, and the officer says, hey ma'am, who drew the outline around the deceased? And Vera goes, swells with pride. They have noticed how helpful and resourceful Vera is. I do it. God. I save you some work. So she went and like outlined the dead dude on the floor of her tea shop.
And I love how she just thinks that she's being so helpful.
Yeah,
and it's like she just contaminated an entire crime scene.
Yes.
My God.
Well, they're like, okay. And then the other officer is like, please, like, get her out of here. So the second officer, Officer Gray, like, takes her outside. And Vera's like, I haven't moved anything, officer. Everything just the way it was before this man is murdered. And the Officer Gray goes, murdered? What makes you think it's murder? Vera sighs at Officer Gray. Why is she asking such obvious question? It's just, I can sense the aura, can't you? Very bad aura. Maybe your generation will know it as vibes. And so the officer goes, because the victim has bad vibes? And she says Vera has the feeling that Officer Gray doesn't believe her. Why be a police officer when you can't even count on your instincts?
Oh my God.
So as they like kind of go on with the murder scene, we find out it like cuts to a chapter and it says, now Vera sits in her kitchen. She takes out the one thing she's hidden in the tissue box. It's a thumb drive, casing the black and shiny. What came over her to take it out of the dead man's hand like that? So she takes something from the crime scene. Like she takes his flash drive that he was holding in his hand and doesn't tell the police that she did this.
Oh my God. This woman is nuts.
This woman's nuts, yeah. Which is also kind of like, again, thought she was 80. Like, you know, like just the complete insanity of how like they're acting. So like she's convinced now that the killer is going to be watching her every step. Like because she stole the flash drive. And the flash drive is obviously important.
Yeah.
Well, then she decides that from what she observed earlier, that the police are not helpful and she's going to have to solve this case on her own. So she starts taking notes.
The only logical conclusion.
The only logical conclusion. So this is her notes. Vera Wong's murder case. Victim, Marshall Chen, 29. Cause of death unknown. Suspicious signs. 1. Bruise on left cheek. Quote, someone punch him? 2. Scratches on right cheek. Quote, someone scratch him? Holding flash drive. Quote, what's inside? Maybe nuclear code? Is he a spy? KGB?
Oh my God.
4, his fingers swollen, everything swollen, like me in 3rd trimester. 5, he has baggie full of drugs. You see, must be bad person. This is not Hollywood. Why is he carrying drugs around? And then it says, so scary. And she like scratched out scary and put exciting in all caps. I am helpless old lady. What to do? It is my duty to find killer before killer go on rampage. Killer will come back for flash drive. I will identify killer and catch. And she slashes out him, her, and puts them. And I'm like, wow, how progressive of you, Vera.
Okay. She really knows the lingo.
She does know the lingo. So here's our second game. I want you to think about what you think the cause of death is.
Okay, so he's got a flash drive.
He's got a flash drive. He's got a bruise. Let me go back to her notes.
He's got bruise on his
left
face,
cheek, scratches on right cheek,
and he's swollen everywhere.
Swollen, baggie full of drugs, holding a flash drive.
And what time was he found? Was he found at 8 p.m. by her when she couldn't sleep? Do we know that?
I think she like woke up one morning and he was dead in the shop. Like she wakes up one morning. So like she goes to bed at 8. That's what they say. And then at 4:30 she wakes up to go run. So between 8 p.m. and 4:30 someone like broke into the tea shop and he's dead, because it says when she wakes up the next morning she finds him and he's dead on the floor. And so she takes the whole day to like clean up the shop and like draw the chalk around the dead body before she calls the police.
Oh my God. And he's got this like scratch and punch. I feel like scratch is very like, I feel like women scratch more than men. But then he's swollen. It's the swollen thing that I keep coming back to, you know? Mm-hmm, so maybe someone poisoned him.
Good guess.
So I'm going to go with poisoned.
You're going to go with poison. Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we've got the murder notes, now we're meeting our people.
Okay.
So Ricky, she labels as the first suspect. He kind of just comes into her tea shop after like the police release that this man was murdered there. So he comes to the tea shop and he says that he's a reporter and he works but he actually like works at a tech company doing some sort of like coding. But he lies to Vera and tells her that he's a reporter and he's just like reporting the murder. And so Vera is automatically like suspicious of him. She's like, so where do you work? Like what kind of journalism do you do? Are you writing an article about the murder? Try my tea. She tries to like get him to try the tea to do like so she can get some like business. She's like, this man will get me some business.
I love that.
Which Vera is just like honestly just so freaking funny. And then like she says, the old woman already behind the counter catches Ricky looking. Oh, that is dead man. I assume you're here because of dead man. And then he's just kind of like staring at the outline and she goes, good outline, yes? And he was like,
tell me I'm so good, please.
And Ricky's like, yes. And she's like, I draw it myself, you know.
What the fuck?
And then he goes, what? Wouldn't the police have done that? And he goes, she snorts, ha, the police. What good are they? They come in, take a couple of photos, they take body and go. Did they even take fingerprints?
Did she? My God. What more can she do?
And then it says a pause stretches for a couple of seconds before Ricky realizes she's expecting him to answer. And he says, did they take any fingerprints? And she said, no. She says loudly and slams a wrinkly fist. Again, this whole like old,
she's so old. So wrinkly.
So wrinkly and old and weak old woman.
Yeah.
A fist on the counter hard enough to make Ricky jump. Exactly. Why not? I say to them. Why you not take fingerprints? Taking my fingerprints. Take fingerprints all over the shop. Do your job. And you know what they say? And Ricky says, what? And her voice lowers. They say, ma'am, we are doing our jobs. please stand aside and stop trying to make the team drink tea. Anyway, so they kind of like this. So she asked him like, what newspaper is he from? He says like, the Bay, the Buzz. And she goes, you mean BuzzFeed? Wow, fabulous. Wonderful job, child. So, like, now she thinks he works at BuzzFeed.
He's
like,
fine. He's not even suspicious anymore.
Yeah. And then Vera thinks that he's gonna take a picture of her in the tea shop, so she puts on like pink lipstick and like asks him like, do I look good? And he's like, yes, you look presentable. And so she goes, make sure you take my photo in good lighting, and maybe you can do that photo shoot thing and make my wrinkles disappear. And he was like, Photoshop. So anyway, that's like her little thing with Ricky. And then after that, we get an intro to Sana. And Sana is an artist, but she says that she has a podcast. And this one's like really funny because she's like, what can I do for you, Sana? And she's like, oh, right. I have a podcast. And it says, Vera's eyebrows wrinkled together. Oh, dear. I'm sure I have some cream for that.
Oh, my God.
And she's like, no, it's sort of like an internet radio show. And she says, ah, wonderful. You're a radio host? So she ends up telling her about it. And so Vera's like, oh, you want to talk about the man who died here? But why? And she was like, why do I want to do an episode on it? I mean, the man died in a tea shop. That's got to be suspicious, right? And then Vera shrugs. The police don't think so. They say, don't think there's foul play.
She's so sassy. She's so passive aggressive.
And she wants them to ask questions too. Like, she's very baity, which I like that about her, you know? Like, I like when you're kind of like getting me to a destination, you know?
When it's like, lead me there.
Lead me there. Yeah. Yeah, very much so. And so she's like, you think something suspicious about his death? And she says, I don't know one way or another, but I do think there may be a story there. So, and then, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of like, and then she's just like asking her why she came back and like asking more about the podcast. And then she was like snooping about into like the drawers and stuff, and then like I guess the drawer like made a noise, and she was like, sorry, I was curious. And Vera says, nothing wrong with a little curiosity. Then she adds with that little glint in her eyes, although you know what they say about curiosity and cat.
Oh my God.
And so the last scene that we have of Sana, she like runs out into the street and just like bursts into tears. So that's our introduction of her.
And we don't like, there's no context. Like, Vera didn't make her cry. She just ran away and started crying.
Just gets into the tear, just gets out into the street and just starts crying. Like, Vera, I don't even think Vera sees her do that. So then after this...
so this is all in the perspective of the people that she's meeting?
Yeah, it's weird because it's in like third person, but it also like switches to like people's perspectives. Okay. So like, right now this is like Vera's like chapter is what I'm about to read. So like now that she's met Ricky and Sana. There was also like a section at some point before Ricky came where like a lady with a child came up to the shop and then like never came in. They just like ran away. And she was like, that's suspicious. So Vera Wong's murder case, she's updating her notes now. Okay. Suspect 1, Ricky Harwanto, too handsome to be a real reporter. Claims to be Gen Z, but looks very millennial. Murder ages you. Maybe he look older because the guilt make him stress. Suspect 2, Sana Singh, has a catch. Trying to say podcast, but claims it's not a rash. Nails are are bitten very badly. Why? It is to get rid of evidence from her scratch. Marshall? Question mark, question mark. Suspect 3, white lady with child. Runs very fast while carrying child. Must be very strong. Strong enough to kill Marshall. And why run away from my shop? Very suspicious. And then she has clues. Flash drive, dash. What's inside?
Is she ever going to look? My God.
So then our next introduction to the next character is Oliver has a twin named Marshall. And so all of a sudden someone like walks through the tea shop, and Vera like goes white, like she's seen a ghost. And he was like, oh no, my brother just arrived very recently and now I'm about to kill this poor woman. So Oliver quickly raises his hands and hopes it's a non-threatening manner. Don't worry, I'm not him, I'm his brother, his twin brother. So then we kind of like learn about Oliver, and like, you know, it's kind of like the same thing, like she's kind of like going back and forth with him about like questions of like, why are you here? Who are you? Like blah 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 blah. So as she decides to solve the case, she calls. So yeah, she gets all of their telephone numbers, all their information, like just because it's like she has really,
no shame.
She's
just like trudging forward.
No shame. Like I feel like they like made her that old character that is just like doesn't give a fuck. Which is why I was like, she's only 60. Like, at 60, you should still have a little shame, you know?
No, I don't think so. I think 60 is the moment your shame starts to just, like, shed away.
Well. Anyway.
Hold on. Okay, thanks.
And then when Oliver asked her about if this is where her, like, brother died, she was like, oh, yes, it is. You want to see the outline of the body? But
maybe my God, she's
maybe
so
that's
proud.
too upsetting. I'm sorry, upsetting? Well, never mind. If you get upset, I have just the right tea for you. Come in. What's your name? So, like, she's just very, like, just doesn't give a shit. So as Vera decides to solve the case now, she calls all the suspects to come to the tea shop, and she introduces them all to one another. And then gets Oliver to invite them. They like figure out that like when they're together, she like tells them about the wife and child or whatever, and like the wife and child of Marshall. And so then Vera gets Oliver to invite her and all the suspect to the wife and child's home.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She's like, tell her on the phone that I have dinner. Like, I cooked food. And then they just all get in the car, and she makes them drive with all the suspects to this lady's house.
Stop.
Yeah.
This grieving mother now has to host all the suspects to her husband's death.
Yes. And so at this point, we kind of get like a little bit more info of Marshall. You kind of figure out that he was like a piece of shit, like a husband and father. Like he talked down to Julia, who's the wife, said mean things about their daughter. Like their daughter seemed very like reserved and laid back and like kind of shy, you know? And so like he would say like, don't treat her like that, don't baby her, she needs to be like used to being like uncomfortable, just like stuff like that you would not say to a kid, because like the child's literally like 2 or 3, so it's like, yeah, like if the kid wants to be like close to their mom, like it's fine,
that's normal at 2 to 3 years old.
And like because she doesn't like, I don't know, chat off every person that she meets, and she's a little shy in the beginning, like that's okay. But like you can just tell Marshall is just like embarrassed by his family. And like Julia, she like has a lot of like questions about herself, like she feel like she can't do anything right, like you can tell he like messed her up mentally. So
where is Vera's son on the suspect list? Interesting.
Is that weird?
That's interesting.
So we get to the point where they all arrive to the house, and Vera introduces them all together, and she makes dinner.
Okay.
So it's like she brings her food, and then she says, Ricky says, because I don't know, it's ridiculous and kind of disrespectful. You go to his widow's house and accuse someone of murder. Like, so she basically is just like, yeah, I brought all of you here today because one of you killed Marshall.
I need to close this case.
Like she basically just like just gets right in there, like no shame. And everyone's just like so stunned. Vera turns to Julia and takes her hand. My dear, I'm sorry. I don't disrespect you. I just want to solve your husband's murder. Is okay? And the wife's just like,
What the fuck?
And then Oliver says maybe you should just leave it up to the police. And Vera shoots him a withering look that he feels in his soul. Oliver, I already tell you, the police are useless. Now, she says, turning back to Julia, you don't have to worry, okay? I will do everything. And then she says, one of you is Marshall's killer. And then Sana says, what makes you say that? Vera walks around the living room. I have deduced that the killer will come back to my tea house and look for something.
Oh.
And they're like, what? And she said, doesn't matter what. All four of you have never been to my tea house, but after Marshall died, you all pop up one by one. Now we all know that Marshall is not a good person. No offense, Julia. That means you all probably have a reason to kill him. So now I'm going to ask you, where are you on the night that Marshall is murdered? They're all gaping at Vera now. We don't have to tell her anything, Ricky says. He looks at the others desperately. We don't. Sana nods slowly. Oliver wills his heart to stop thumping. It was a weird day, someone says, and realize that it's Julia speaking. And Julia says, Marshall and I had split up the day before. And so that's exactly what Vera says. He just walk out. And then everyone's like looking at her like, how could he just like leave Emma and walk out like that, leaving behind wife and kid? And so the next start of the chapter is from Vera's point of view after she's accused everyone of murder. And the first sentence is, Vera can't remember the last time she had so much fun. She has like disrupted this whole like family dynamic and accused like 5 people of killing someone. And she's like, I'm having a blast.
I love it.
Which I was born for this. So funny. Like, it's just, she makes her really a relatable character.
I can see you doing the same exact thing, basically.
Thank you. Yeah, I would be very pushy about solving a murder.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
you should be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, who do you think it is at this point? Like, are you still sticking with your guesses?
So I do feel like it's super sus that Miss Artist just like burst into tears. That's really weird. But I'm also like, okay, maybe. At this point, do we know where the son lives?
I don't really remember if they give like dialogue of like where the son lived versus the tea shop. I don't really remember that. I don't remember if it was
he at that dinner?
Who?
The son. Vera's son.
No.
Interesting. I don't know. I was thinking maybe it was him. But I'm just gonna hold off my guess. Don't tell me who did it until you give me another guess.
Oh.
Because I do think the artist would have a lot of like chemicals that could poison someone.
So at this point, I agree with you. I'm interested to see like if you're gonna guess it. So at this point, Vera decides that she's going to take them one by one and start questioning them. And so she starts asking like Ricky what he was doing. He said I was hanging out at my place playing computer games. And so they like have like a whole thing about that. And then she says, oh, so you play with your online friends? And he said, yeah. And she said, so they can vouch where you are at the time of Marshall is killed? And then she turns to Sana and she's like, yes, are you ready for your turn? And Sana's just like, what? And she's like, you're not my mom, Vera. You don't get to pry into everyone's business. I'm not telling you anything I don't have to. And so then Vera starts jotting things down in her notebook. And Santa's like, wait, don't write that down. What are you even writing? And Vera says, well, refusing to give information is in itself information. And Sana's like, I'm not guilty. And Vera says, I don't say anything about you being guilty.
Power move.
It is a power move. So then after she like questions him, Officer Gray comes by and says that Marshall died, dun, 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 are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Of bird dander. And he's allergic to bird dander.
Oh.
So we find out he is allergic to bird dander. And that
sounds like something only someone really close to him would know.
Yeah. Because his brother, like once he says that he died of bird dander, his Oliver, the twin brother was there, was like, oh, well, he's allergic to bird dander. So like that's how they found out he was allergic to bird dander. So now at this point we have updated Vera's notes. Vera's notebook. Cause of death, bird dander. Suspects. 1, the city of San Francisco, because letting all these pigeons roam free. 2, maybe he
Call the city planner. They
right
killed
now. 2, maybe he kick pigeon and kill him. 3,
Makes sense.
Big Bird. Oh my god. Oliver, because he's the only one who knows about bird allergy. But why he die in my shop? Because he know he is having allergy reaction and he think, tea will help because tea is good for health. Poor Marshall. Why he don't call out to me and make him tea? Oh yes, he cannot talk because throat closing up. Stupid case.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's so funny, dude. Like, she's really funny.
But the bird, like, who would have access to birds?
Bird dander.
You know? That's so specific.
So specific. So Vera decides that she's going to be nosy. She's investigated her suspects. You know, we're like meeting everyone. And she's like, I don't really know. So she decides she's going to be nosy at the police station. So she does the very, like, honestly, what I would do, which is like make a bunch of tea and food and like go over to someone's establishment and like get the story, you know, like if I was trying to get
bring
hot
tea to get tea.
I would do that, you know. I would bring something and get you to like chat about it, you know. So I get this about her. So she finds out at the police station, because it works naturally, that the bird dander was in his stomach, so he ingested bird dander.
Super sus.
I don't remember like how this came about either, but somehow Oliver finds that Marshall has a secret apartment. Like he gets like a key or whatever to his apartment. I don't know if it was like in his will or something. I don't remember how he gets access to the secret apartment, but he finds out Marshall has a secret apartment and he decides...
That's suspicious as fuck.
Suspicious as fuck. So he goes to the... He goes to the apartment, and this is kind of like what he finds when he gets to the apartment. He finds out that it's $2,500 for a studio, and it's a lot of money to spend on a secret apartment that looks like it was used for storage. There's a floor mattress, boxes stacked on top of one another. He decides that he's going to open the box. Inside is a stash of wrapped bricks of cocaine. Is not a stash of wrapped bricks of cocaine or stacks of counterfeit money or anything that he expected, but a sculpture about 4 feet tall. It's a model of a U-shaped spaceship. Its surface carved in extremely elaborate detail. Oliver lifts it very carefully because it's obvious even to him, someone who knows nothing about sculptures, that this is a true work of art. The amount of detail has gone into this spaceship is staggering. You can even see people inside the tiny carved windows. He places it on the floor before stepping back, staring at at it dumbfounded. A piece of art, a beautiful one at that. Why does Marshall have it? Oliver feels like he shouldn't be handling this delicate piece of art with his bare hands, but he hadn't thought of bringing gloves here, and he needs these answers. So he lifts the piece gingerly and peers at the bottom of its base. Sure enough, there are words carved into it. F. Martinez, failure to launch. He sets the piece back down, his mind racing. It's obvious the title of the piece. So, he opens the next box. This one is filled with prints of beautiful photographs of waterfalls and forests, each one so vivid that Oliver can practically hear the rush of rivers in its pictures. Before long, the studio looks like a tiny art gallery, so he starts opening boxes one by one, and so he's finding all of this art. They've all been made by different artists. Oliver is absorbed by the bizarre discovery, his mind racing ahead, or rather backward into the past, digging frantically to figure out just what the hell Marshall was up to, but he still can't make sense of any of it. Oh, Marshall, he says, with his voice heavy with sorrow and regret. What have you done?
So he's like smuggling art?
Yeah, he's doing something shady with art. Mm-hmm. That is what we know. He is doing something shady with art. So then, after all of this, Vera calls... I think she calls Julia. It says that her shop got broken into. So all the gang come over and they want to help her clean up. And then Julia, the wife, offers for Vera to stay with them. So Vera gets her little bag. She's staying at Julia and she starts sleuthing because she's like, great, now I can figure out about the flash drive. She like tried to put the flash drive in her computer. It wasn't working. So she's like still trying to figure out this flash drive situation. Like what's in the flash drive? So as she's like sleuthing about, she finds his secret flash drive, his secret laptop, plugs in the flash drive and finds all of this information. It works. She's like looking through it and she finds digital files of artwork with like artists' names on it. So then like you get this moment where she's like, everything like clicks and then they kind of like the story shifts and she goes and talks to Sana because Sana's an artist. And so she's like, okay, Sana, like, I see your name on this list of artists on this flash drive that I have uncovered from his pocket. Why is your name on, like, the list? Like, why is your name on the flash drive? So Sana basically comes out and says that Marshall, she's a small artist. Marshall offered to buy her paintings, and then he scammed her out of all of her artwork and her ownership of her art and kept them as NFTs to scam other art collectors. So that's how Sana like got brought into the story. Because there was also a point where like she goes to Julia's house and she sees all the boxes and stuff, and like Sana starts to think like, is my art in this? Like she just wanted to get her art back. Yeah. Which is why she was like sleuthing about trying to find like what was going on with Marshall, because she just wanted to get her stuff back. So let's see, I have an update. After Vera finds like all that information out, she gives an update to her notebook, which like her notebooks are just like really funny.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Suspect. And then she has Sana she crosses out Sana's name. Sana promised she is not Marshall's killer. I think she is telling the truth. I have a very good nose for sniffing out lies. And Sana is a terrible liar because she twitches whenever she lies. I must invite her to play Mahjong one day. Easy win for me. Well, that is one suspect out. So we are down to just 3. I must say, living with one of my suspects is a bit of conflict of interest because I start to like Julia very much. So I hope she is not killer. Although I do think there is a strong chance she is, because just imagine being married to Marshall. Terrible man. I think he is a very bad husband and a very bad father. Just look how little Emma barely mentioned him. Julia says this because Marshall is rarely home, and when he is, he does not like to play with Emma. In fact, he will tell her to go to bed, be quiet. Oh, if Marshall is alive, I should like to give him a good scolding. That is exactly what he needs. I get call from Officer Gray today. She is very angry about the break-in. She even called me a responsible citizen. Can you imagine? I tell her that I even go to the police police station to chase up on the murder investigation, but it seems they don't want to investigate, so I decided not to bother them with small thing like burglary, especially when nothing is taken. She has nothing to say to that. I wish she has come in person to see me so I can see the look on her face when I tell her off. She then say I must close up my shop while they look into it, and I say that's fine. It's already closed up. They can come and go as they please. Maybe now they will finally do some DNA and fingerprint test, eh? I tell her that, and she just sigh and tell me to not leave town, like I will leave when so many exciting things are happening. Anyway, I hope the killer is Ricky or Oliver. Speaking of which, I'm inviting Ricky to beach tomorrow. Won't that be nice? He's a good boy, and I will make mini buns for him and Sana. They are both good boys, Ricky and Oliver. I can tell. Well, aside from being a possible killer. But as they say, everyone is innocent until proved that they are guilty. So for now, they will be delicious buns for all.
Okay, now I'm suspicious of Officer Gray. I think, so I'll cut this, but I feel like you should, like, give all this, but not tell them who the killer is. Tell me, but don't tell them.
Oh.
And be like, and if you want to figure it out, you got to read the book.
Oh, wow. Possibly.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Officer Gray is very sus, like, complimenting her on being such a responsible citizen.
She said irresponsible.
Oh, she's an irresponsible citizen.
She was mad at her because she didn't call the police station to tell them that her shop got broken into, basically. So, like, when Officer Gray finds out about it, Officer Gray's like, what the heck? Why didn't you say anything? And Vera's like, you didn't even do DNA and fingerprints the first time.
You didn't even do a chalk outline the way I did.
Right. Did you see the chalk outline? Did you remember that I offered you tea? Come on.
Okay.
So,
well, it's just okay, yeah, cool. Okay.
So that's that.
So he's doing NFTs. He's scamming artists. He had drugs on him. Yeah. And fucking bird dandruff.
Bird dander ingested. Yeah. So then the next piece we get into, the big piece, is that she decides to confront Ricky. So she's like, "Hey, Ricky."
Wait. So she hates Winifred, but she hasn't examined Winifred yet? Okay.
No, she just doesn't like her because she people like her French pastries, and she's like, it's not even French. Why do people like this? This is dumb. And also Winifred is nosy and in her business, and she's like, why? She's like, Winifred, I bet she's checking on my shop to see how many people are in here today. She does stuff like that. But anyway, she decides to sit Ricky down and be like, okay, Ricky, what is going on? Why are you so invested in this?
Yeah.
So Ricky kind of comes out that his younger brother is special needs or something and needs to get into this school. So he came to the United States to get a job and pay to have him over here to get medical attention or something like that. So he's a programmer. So when he finds that his brother needs more money to help with whatever medical condition he has, he finds this job online that pays $25,000 to build a program to scan the internet and increase the NFT's price for Marshall's paintings and decrease the price of the other NFTs. So he builds a scam bot, and he knows it's a scam bot, and he feels really bad about it, but the only reason why he did it was because of the money amount. And then he kind of talks about he really should have known that it was fake and blah blah blah.
Oh, so he also didn't get paid?
No, he didn't get paid.
Of course not. Okay.
So he again had gone to see Marshall about it. And I guess I'll wait to the end to describe what all happens basically. But he also has an interaction with Marshall because they all basically saw him, Sana and Ricky, and I think Oliver all saw him the day that he died, which is partly why they went to the tea shop, because they were like, oh, we killed him. My interaction with him must have killed him. So that happens. So Vera's kind of all right, well, you're off the list. And then she's snooping around the house and she finds this manuscript Untitled manuscript by Oliver R. Chin. So basically, she finds like the notebook with it, and I'll just like read some of it. David never asked to be Randall's younger brother, a twin no less. Few things in life are as cursed as being an inferior twin. Even when they were little, it was obvious that David was the poor man's version, the knockoff of Randall. Where Randall was active and boisterous in a charming way that kids often are, David was so shy he found it hard to even say hi to people. Their parents were always apologizing on David's behalf. Sorry he's shy. Sorry he doesn't like strangers. Meanwhile, Randall would give his trademark gap tooth grin and everyone would go, "Aw," and forget David's existence, which is how he liked it anyway. Until he met Aurelia. Aurelia? Yeah, he fell in love with her at first sight. How could he not? Never before had he come across anyone like her. And so then like Julia starts putting like the pieces together and she realizes that like she's Aurelia.
Wait, Julia or Vera starts putting this together?
I think so. Like Vera had found the manuscript first and like started reading it, but I think Julia finds the manuscript that like Vera hid and read already. Because there was like a comment when Vera read it and she was like, "Wow, Oliver's good at writing." just not taking it seriously like at all. No. And like Julia's having this like full moment because she's like realizing that like Oliver was like in love with her the whole time basically. How much he loves her, everything about her. But of course, because David is cursed, because David is the lesser catch, she has all eyes for Randall. Randall would often look over his shoulder as he walked with Aurelia, and catching David's eye in the distance, Randall would smirk and raise his hand in a small wave. Aurelia never noticed the way Randall would squeeze her waist, as if to remind David that she now belonged to Randall, just like everything else. He sits in the dark and clicks through their photos, the perfect family. How painful that, because he and Randall are twins. Randall and Aurelia's child looks like he could be David's. That same smile that goes ever so slightly higher on the right cheek, the way the eyebrows turn up like so. You're so fucking pathetic, Randall spits at David. Pathetic, the word that has haunted him his entire life. He looks at Randall without speaking, without doing anything, and as Randall laughs, David comes to the decision he's going to end Randall. He doesn't know it yet, but he'll find a way. So that's in his manuscript. As like Julia is reading it, the doorbell rings. She gets up, she like leaves the manuscript on the couch. Who comes to the door?
Oliver.
Officer Gray. Fuck. Officer Gray comes right on in, and
this bitch.
So she says she's looking into the husband's death, and says that she notices Julia is gonna get a large payout due to his passing. Like the insurance policy is bumping. Okay.
And those NFTs show up somehow.
You are due to receive no less than $700,000. That's quite a payout. As she's there, she sees
the manuscript.
So like not only with the like payout she's getting, she sees the manuscript, and when the police came to tell her husband died in the beginning, she saw like all the trash bags, because remember she had told Vera that like Marshall was leaving her. So like when the officers came by, all of his shit was packed up in the front. So she's like, you're getting a large payout, your husband's shit was at the front. And so Officer Gray is really like cornering in on her. And then Officer Gray finds the manuscript that's written by Oliver. It's got Oliver's name on it. And so she takes it and just like leaves. And now Julia's like, oh shit.
I don't know, dude. I think the manuscript is like too obvious. Like it's not subtle enough, you know? So I'm just like not sold. I'm not like changing my answer just yet.
I agree. So after all of this happens, and like Officer Gray like goes to Oliver and tells him not to like leave town, basically, because they're like think he's the murderer. Vera decides she's gonna have a black tie party hosted at Julia's house to reveal the murderer.
I love that you have to be in style.
You have to be in style.
I like that she's just very much planning at someone else's home instead of her own. Good for her.
So they do the... Okay, wait, I'm going to ask you, like, who do you think the murderer is now?
Okay, so we have artist Sana. We have programmer Ricky. Wife. Twin. And that's our 4 main ones, right?
Yep.
Emma.
The kid.
Fucking Emma.
Yeah.
That quiet little shit. Okay, so Miss Sana.
I can give you the character list. I'll read you the character list. Julia Chen, Emma Chen, Oliver Chen, Tilbert Wong, Marshall Chen, Ricky Herwanto, Sana Sign, Alex, Winifred, Officer Gray.
Who's Alex?
He's the regular customer, the regular tea shop customer.
We just haven't heard anything about him. Okay.
Yeah, they don't talk about him a lot in the book. He's there at the beginning, like when she's talking about her every day at the tea shop, and then he comes in to get his regular, and then she like stops coming around the shop, so like Vera will go and like to his house and like drop off some tea, but he doesn't answer the door. They talk a little bit about how like his wife had died, so he's just kind of like depressed. But that's really all we hear about him, but it's kind of like sprinkled in throughout the book.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's sprinkled in throughout the book. And his wife is dead. Maybe he needed a new wife. But okay, so I find Officer Gray kind of sus, just because the bag of weed or drugs or whatever that was on him when he was found doesn't like seem to align with anything else.
Yeah.
So like maybe like the death was possibly an accident, but she was still going to frame him for something. Like maybe she got the drugs and put it on him and was like going to do something, but it just seems like that's something that we just haven't, there's no answer to that. Everything else I'm like, okay, NFTs, artists got stolen, like the programmer's making the program, the brother is jealous, but I don't think that's enough motivation to say that he's a killer. But like the drugs are weird, and then Officer Gray is just suspicious to me. So I'm gonna go Officer Gray.
Officer Gray. Okay. So we're back at the party, and basically Vera just kind of tells everybody, like, everyone's kind of like a bit on edge. I think Julia's on edge for finding the manuscript, Ricky and Sana. So Ricky ends up telling Sana that...
Do you hear that?
I do, yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Ricky ends up telling Sana that he's the one who like made the program that like got her scammed out of her art. So she's basically like pissed at him. So they have like a little bit of like a falling out. So like everyone's kind of like on edge. And now Vera's like, great, black tie party. You know? So at the party, like you learn about a lot of stuff. Like Vera says, I don't know who kills Marshall, but I know who broke into my shop. And she said, and they all say, what? And Vera says, I break into my shop. And they say, what? And Vera sighs, I come down one morning and I see that things have been moved around. Some jars go missing. So Ricky says, which jars? I mean, are you sure? She said, yes, of course I'm sure. I know how I arrange my shop. Don't be silly. But I think to myself, would the police take me seriously? They don't take Marshall's death seriously. So why would they take me seriously when I tell them that someone stole into my shop? They will ask, how much did thief take? Well, no money is missing. What was taken? I don't know. I just know that my jars are moved, and I'm sure it's the killer come back to look for the flash drive. So I decided, okay, I will take control of the situation. The killer is too cunning to make it obvious, so I will make it obvious. Make it clear that someone break in and keep all of us working on the common goal, solving Marshall's killer. So I do that. So she basically, like, destroys her shop.
This woman is crazy.
It's insane.
I love it.
And Sana's like, you smashed up your own shop to make it look more obvious that someone broke in? She says, all those jars. And she said, it hurt me to break them all like that, but I'm willing to do anything to find the killer. And Julia says, wait, hold on. What do you mean the killer would come back to look for the flash drive? What flash drive? Says they didn't know about that. And Julia says, Vera, what flash drive? And so Vera releases a long, tired breath. When I find Marshall's body, he holding a flash drive in his hand. And Julia says, what the fuck? And Oliver's like, you took it? And Ricky cries, my God, Vera, that's tampering with crime scene. You could go to prison for that. And Vera says, I just know, you see, the police won't take case seriously. And then Oliver was like, well, maybe they would have if you hadn't taken the evidence. Yep. So what was on the drive? And she's like, well, it turns out the drive's to unlock his computer. The computer has NFTs. And, oh, yes, the bot that Ricky make. Oh, so now, like, Sana and Ricky, like, Sana finds out that he made the bot and, like, blah, blah, blah. So basically now they kind of, like, all are, like, so Julia's like, okay, where's the flash drive now and the laptop? We should hand it over to the police. Vera says, I've been looking for it since yesterday, and both of them are gone. So, like, now the laptop is gone, the flash drive's gone, all of that's gone. So Julia also just, like, comes to a halt and realizes, like, she doesn't even know who Vera is. Yeah, this lady's been staring at her, blah, blah, blah. So she just, like, tells her, get out now. And so Vera just, like, leaves. She's very sad. She's very sullen. Because she was, like, a lot of stuff that I, like, didn't cover in the book is that they all kind of, like, started, like, hanging out, like, getting along. Like, her daughter, like, really started liking Vera. Like, she kind of, like, started coming out of her shell and everything. And, like, she was, like, Vera was like, this is my little buddy, my little helper. And, like, Julia was starting to come out of her shell with, like, Vera there. Because, like, Vera was, like, giving her the confidence to, like, come out and, like, that she's a good mom and, like, blah, blah, blah. So, like, it was a bunch of, like, positive stuff. Like, she was hanging out with Ricky and Sana. Like, she was helping Sana, like, get back into her, like, artist groove because she had become depressed after getting her, like, painting stolen. And, like, Ricky was depressed and getting, like, scammed out all the money for making the bot. So, like, Vera was kind of helping them, and they were all, like, hanging out, and it was just, like, good, positive family energy. And Vera was like, I like this. Like, I'm not alone anymore, you know? Like, how she was at the beginning of the book where she just wakes up, goes on her walks. Yeah. Serves her one regular customer and, like, goes to bed, basically. So, like, you kind of get this whole, like, storytelling within it, which is just very, like, sweet. And, like, we love to see it. So Vera becomes depressed after the blow up. No one hears from Vera. She kind of, like, disappears. Well, when they all decided to, like, help her clean the shop, everyone, like, took a job. Like, Sana decided she was going to paint the walls and do, like, artist on the walls. Oliver, like, helped do a lot of, like, rewiring and put, like, the glass in and, like, da-da-da, like, fix the windows, stuff like that. Well, Ricky was good at, like, building furniture. So he, like, built her tables, chairs, all that stuff. So, like, you get to a scene where, like, Ricky remembers the furniture he was making for her. So he goes over and brings the chairs and finds her, like, really sick. Like, finds Vera, like, really, really sick. And he rushes her to the hospital and calls the gang. He's like, I've never seen her like this. I don't know what's going on. She's, like, barely talking to me. She's cold. Well, they find out that she had, like, severe case of, like, the flu or tuberculosis or something. Like, she was just, like, just gonna, like, lay there and, like, die. Like, her depression had just, like, eaten up at her, like, everything that she did and realizing that she was wrong. So at this point, like, once everything, like, gets out and, like, she recovers and everything, they all kind of, like, realize she, like, gets to the end of the book and she kind of, like, starts putting the pieces together that do you want me to tell you what happened? Because, like, this is kind of like the end of the book.
I do want to know.
So what ends up happening is after she, like, recovers.
Spoiler alert.
Huge spoiler alert. They get to the end of the book after she's, like, recovering, and she realizes that they remodeled the tea shop. And as she's kind of, like, going through her supplies, she realizes that, like, one of the supplies is in her tea she has is a bird dander. So someone who like worked at her shop would have, or like had go to the shop regularly, would have known that she had that in her tea shop. So then she turns to Oliver and she's like, who's your dad? What is his first name? And Oliver says, my dad's first name is Alex. And he said, and Vera's like, oh my God. So they go over to the apartment, and like the dad like knows immediately that Vera kind of like figured it out. That like he was having like dinner with Marshall the day that Marshall had died. And like Marshall comes in and he has a bruise on his cheek from when Ricky hit him for not getting paid. And then a scratch on the other side of his cheek from Sana when she scratched him because she was trying to get her artwork back and he wasn't giving it to her. And so when he shows up, he like kind of gets in the middle of the fight. And like, again, because of what we know from Oliver's manuscript, like Marshall was like the golden child. So like all of a sudden, like Alex knows like something's wrong. Like Marshall isn't like who he says he is. And so he asks him like, what's going on? Like, why do you have these bruises or anything? He tells his dad he's leaving Julia, and his dad's like, I can't imagine why you would do that. Like, you know, your mother just died. Like having a wife and a child is like a beautiful thing. Like, what's up? And then, Marshall's just like, yeah, like I don't want to be married to her anymore, like da da da, and like talks bad about Julia and his granddaughter, and then says that he's like gonna make money and be rich elsewhere and like leaving them. And so like it all kind of like hits on his dad that his son is like a terrible person. And so he goes and finds the product in the tea, and he makes his son tea, and he puts it in the tea, and the son drinks it. And like as the son realizes that his dad poisons him, he like is running like out of the apartment, and he like runs into Vera's tea shop. And like and he had like because he realized it was the tea that was killing him, so he busts into the tea shop, and that's when he dies with his flash drive in the hand.
Oh
yeah,
dude. Well, Alex was first on my first list.
It was. Yeah, yeah. It was very like subtle. Like I was like, it's so odd that they mentioned him in the beginning, because then he didn't really have like any other plot points or anything throughout the book. So I was like, he has to like come back at some point. Yeah. And there was small stuff that she had mentioned, like she'd be like, oh, I was like, we were getting watched at the beach or whatever. And then like one day, like one of the windows in the bedroom was open, and then like later they had found out that like the laptop and stuff had gotten stolen. And like Alex, because he was like obviously like Marshall was his son, he had been to their house before, so he would know how to get in and like get the laptop and stuff without knowing. So he was trying to like cover up for Marshall to like get him out of his bad things, while also like killing him because he was doing something really wrong. But like the dad like goes to jail, you know, like that,
as he should.
But like the end of it, they kind of like turn it around. And they get to the tea shop, and everything's like renovated, and she's like really excited about seeing her new tea shop and like all the work that they came in. And she's just like, oh my God, like you guys like spruced up my tea shop. That's like so sweet. Aww. And they end up having like an article come out about the case and about the tea shop getting broken into. And then she realizes that she goes and there's like a line outside her shop. And she's like, what's this about? And Julia's like, surprise! Oliver wrote this beautiful article about you and your tea house and the rich history behind it. Aww. And the Bay Area Times actually bought it, and they ran the story yesterday. And then one of the girls in the lines is like, no, I'm actually here because of the TikToks. And then Julia blushes. I told you, Vera, they got good engagement. So, like, Julia starts doing photography at some point in the book. And she does, like, photographs for an influencer. And so the influencer is, like, posting about, like stuff that Julia's doing. And, like, Julia does a photo shoot at, like, the tea shop. And so it, like, goes viral on TikTok. So, like, everyone knows about it. And then the other woman says, I'm an art student. I wanted to see the paintings inside. Our art teacher showed it to us in class. So now, like, everyone's kind of, like, having a piece of, like, why Vera's shop's going, like, viral now, her tea shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bearded guy in the line says, I'm here for the tea. Yeah, Casey Red was raving about it. Says your T's are W. And Vera says, my T's are W. And Julia says, it's short for win. And Vera says, why not just say win? It's longer to say W. And Julia says, just go with it, Vera. Now come in and unlock the place so we can all have some tea. The others will join soon. So it's just like a very like cute ending kind of to like wrap up like the murder mystery. They all kind of like come back and they're all kind of like a big squad again and like little gang. She's got like Julia and Emma back and like it's just cute. So, like, my whole why can't I shut the fuck up about the book, it was just a good, like, kickoff to my year. It was that good palate cleanser. It was, like, lighthearted. The characters were a lot of diversity, and, like, each one had kind of its own story, and I liked how that, like, intertwined. The main character, Vera, is just, like, cool neighborhood grandma, like, really funny and witty.
She is a vibe.
Yeah, she's a vibe. And, like, I would not want her as my grandma, but I would love her as my friend, you know?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
seems super cool. So, anyway, this is our book for today.
Oh, I loved this one, dude. This one was fun.
This one was fun.
She was a good character.
Lighthearted. And the sequel for this is coming out April 2025. April 1st, 2025.
Okay.
Which I am excited about. So I will be reading it.
So it's going to be another one, or is it like, do you think you could read them standalone?
I'm not sure if they'll like make sense because like it'll be the same characters in this book. So like, I don't know if like, I don't remember what the description was. I do know because I read like a little snippet of the, about the book that Officer Gray gets with Tilly, her son.
Awesome. Oh my god.
I know. I was like, okay.
And I thought she was a dirty cop.
You thought she was a
but
dirty
she's
cop.
A dirty cop.
She's she's getting dirty, just not in the ways that we think.
Yeah. No, that's great. Oh my god, good for her. I hope that brings Tilly and Vera together because he seems to be annoyed with his mother.
Yes. No, one of the things when they clocked, which I thought was so funny, is when she got really sick in the hospital, like Tilly goes visit her and he's like, who the hell are all you people? And they're like, we're Vera's friends. Who are you? And he's like, I'm her son. And they're like, oh, we have to talk to you.
Yeah, you gotta do better.
Yeah,
bud.
you have to do better about being nice to your mother.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. So
that's really funny.
Yeah. So it was cute. It was a cute book. I enjoyed it.
I like that. Yeah, that was really fun. Well, I love a classic whodunit, you know?
I love a classic whodunit. Love a good murder mystery.
I love a good murder mystery. All right. Well, guys, like and subscribe and follow for more. Ooh, and leave your recommendations for books that you want us to cover next time.
Yeah, please do. Because, like, we're just kind of doing whatever.
Yeah, there's really no rules here.
There's no rules. There's no policy. There's no reason. Be a rebel. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye. Oh, my ears hurt so fucking bad.
My ears hurt so bad.